Bob, there's a lot of folks who listen to all of our channels, yours included, where, commercial beekeeping, sideline beekeeping may not even be a part of their language of the journey that they're on, but they still find that the way that you present your information, you're presenting your journey and your experience with beekeeping in a non-threatening, non-authoritative way, where you're just humbly sharing what it is that you do. And I think that's important because what you do resonates with everyone, all the way down to somebody in their first year with 1 or 2 colonies. You have a way of presenting yourself and your information where they can just understand things that normally they may struggle with. So Bob, my question is to you. You're 70 years old. You've been keeping bees for 40 years. I know I've asked you once before, but I thought it'd be fun to ask you again. I don't know that we ever see Bob Binnie ever slowing down enough to consider a retirement without bees. But let's just say Bob Binnie retires and he's only keeping 1 to 4 colonies. If you're to have 4 colonies in the backyard there at the house, talk to us about what that configuration looks like and how you would be getting those bees for winter right now.
I think I'd be doing the same things. I would keep double deep colonies as long as I could lift the deep.
Okay.
just
10
like
frame equipment.
just like Dick Brickner, there may come a time when it has to be all mediums or 8 frame mediums or something like that. But I do exactly what I'm doing now. Even if it was 4 colonies, I just do it on a smaller scale. I think everything we've talked about tonight would be exactly what I'd be doing. I like solid bottom boards. I think I'd still use a flat migratory lid. Many smaller beekeepers use telescoping lids, and that's fine. But I think I'd do everything the same. I really would.
Well, that's a beautiful answer because I think that's why your channel has exploded. I think that's why folks enjoy what you do because, just because you're running 1,500 or 2,500 or 3,000 colonies, if you humbly and honestly say, I would do the same thing, but just with 4 colonies, what I hear in that is that what you're doing can translate and also downscale the same tenets, the same approach, the same methods work, whether it's 1 hive or 1,000. Not a lot of folks can say that. In a lot of other industries, scaling and had that huge swing from backyard to professional or commercial. So yeah, that's interesting.
Classic comment from DC's Bees here. He says, Bob would keep bees like Bob keeps bees. So that one thing, and
Hey,
kind
that's
of
good, yeah.
kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, I've always thought from day one, even though I've felt a little bit like a squirrel at times, just running all over the place, trying different things. But I've always felt like if I wanted to learn how to keep bees and be successful, I need to learn from those who feed their family by keeping bees.
Yeah, there's
That I think
something to
that's
be said
important.
for
You got a lot of people that are successful hobbyists or even newer beekeepers that may not have the experience, or it's not urgent for them. If they lose all their colonies, they're gonna be able to eat still. But for the commercial guys that provide for their families, I don't think it's a bad thing to learn from what they're doing to be successful. And your job is to keep the bees alive. One reason I think that people gravitate to you, Bob, is because, well, there's just an air about you that you really are. You have the heart of a teacher. You're willing to share what you're doing that's successful. And so many people out there, whether it's in beekeeping or just in the world in general, are very competitive in nature, and they just want to kind of pull what they're doing and hide it and not let other people see what they're doing. They don't want people to know what they're doing. And you're more than willing to share the things that work, the bee basics that can help people be successful. And you explain it in a way that is understandable. When you talk about making splits into nukes, and you pull the bees up and you shake them down and then you move them into nuke boxes, you're doing it with hundreds of colonies, but I could do it with 4 colonies. You don't have to do. So you're doing something that the way you explain it is a way that the average backyard beekeeper could also be successful. So I think that's kind of like what Greg was saying. That's why you're successful with your YouTube channel. You're always more than gracious. You're gracious to help people and answer questions and answer comments on your channel and things like that. So just to really appreciate what you're doing for beekeeping in general, and for the beekeeping for this community, our community here at Stream Team, and the overall beekeeping community. You're doing a great work.
Well, thank you.
Bob, tell us, do you have any words of wisdom for us as we close this thing out? Any final thoughts for us?
Oh, I used to say this a lot. I haven't said it recently, but as beekeepers, we need to be tenacious. You need to learn how to go with the ebb and the flow, the ups and the downs, the wave and It's beekeeping is a beautiful thing, but it's not always, doesn't feel pretty all the time. You got to take the highs with the lows, and that's part of it. If you're unable to do that, it's going to be hard to be successful and to hang in there. So many new beekeepers come into our store and buy bees, and the next year they've lost their bees over winter and they're done. They don't want to try again. My words to them is just, even before they get their bees, I say, no, just understand that the odds of success are not 100%, and don't give up, stick with it. And I think in time, within 2 or 3 years, you'll find that you're doing well and it's all good.
Bees are the conduit to the people. We say that all the time, that it's not just about beekeeping, it's about being our brother's keeper. And for that, I got to thank Bob personally. Bob has been a tremendous, both Bob, Suzette, the crew at the Blue Ridge Honey Company have been a tremendous lighthouse for us as we have tried to find and have been stumbling on our path. They've been a tremendous lighthouse to us and have been a very important part of our growth, not only for our beekeeping, but for our business, what we do as a family. The trips that Bob and I had down in Florida has really helped shape the direction that we've gone. And so for that, a lot of doors have opened. And for that, I thank you, Bob, for being an incredible lighthouse to us and also to this community.